Hello, everybody. I am Super Train Station H. I am an autistic gamer and writer, and today we are gonna. Where's my webcam? Where's my webcam? There's my webcam. Hey, everybody. Yep. So today we're gonna be playing some Donkey Kong for the original Game Boy. I'll be playing the cartridge here on the Analog Pocket. This is a device that lets me play original cartridges for handheld games directly off the cartridges without using software-based emulation. There are much simpler and accessible ways to play the games, but I personally have a large physical library, and it's a way that it's a way of playing the games that I enjoy. And really, I think what matters is not how much you paid for equipment or how scarce or exclusive it is, but just playing the games in a way that's meaningful for you. And Kalaka Boy, happy Saturday. The XLO company, they sent me this, what they call, well, this is the XLO handset here, this weird phone that they said, well, the advanced controller's been calling me through this. My phone is connected via Bluetooth to this thing, and it's been a way, I guess I've been mining this weird digital currency that's also my channel point system. My viewers have several thousand. I keep losing all of mine for various weird excuses, the leader of the company. And they sent me this, which they said, they call this a coincidence survey. They say once I do this, I'll be able to keep the tokens that I mine during stream. But what I'm more interested in showing off is the new... yeah, hey there, Azure Est. Hey there, Kalaka Boy. Yeah, so this is the new drafting machine I got. This is the Free Write Alpha. This is by a company called Astra House, and this is part of their free write line of what they call drafting machines. All right, this should be a word process. Well, I would like this to be a word processor. It is not a word processor. It is a drafting machine. They deliberately minimize, if not deliberately remove, features that would allow me to freely edit on here, which is explicitly hostile to my personal writing process. But they're the only company that is producing. They're the only company right now that's making dedicated writing equipment, dedicated writing equipment in English. So I want to support them. So I donated. Well, I contributed to their crowdfunding effort for this. This is the third device they've put out. Now, this is kind of based on the Alpha Smart line of electronic word processors that they stopped producing in like 2012. Now, these are very hot. This actually, if you look in the corner here, look at that. They're arrow keys, so you can move the cursor freely. The first generation of these did not have arrow keys. Now they have software-based arrow keys, but they deliberately make them as clunky to use as possible. Frankly, this is 1,000,000% more practical and useful and able to actually have serious work done on it for me. Basically, the difference between these two machines for me, this is a writing machine. This is a word processor. This is a machine to do your writing on. This is a interactive art piece about the concept of writing and a very specific creative process that the company promotes and advocates for and adheres to. And they call this a drafting machine. This is an actual word processor. Now, the funny thing is, when the original version of this came out, the original version of this is on the closing in on $500. And at this point, these have a very serious hardcore following for people who modify theirs to have, lit screens, more advanced features, and they customize and modify these. Whereas, so when the original model of this came out with what they call the Smart Typewriter, a much bigger, more bulky version of this, they were sort of they put out ads to the effect of, hey, are you still using one of these? It's time to update you to a serious writing tool. This is an old, obsolete thing made for disabled students. Well, I didn't say that, this was made for the educational market in mind, specifically with a lot of the uses being for disabled students like me who had fine motor disabilities and couldn't keep up in terms of handwriting in an age when and full-fledged laptops, let alone, kids didn't even have smartphones at the time, let alone full-fledged laptops. So they're like, hey, get rid of your Alpha Smart. Send your Alpha Smart to us, and we'll give you a pittance of a discount on one of our devices. And it's like, how are you going to go calling that thing, the Alpha Smart, oh, that's not a serious writing tool. It's time to get one of our devices. And then years later, make this machine, which is very specifically modeled after the Alpha Smarts, but then, okay, people modify their Alpha Smarts to add a lit screen. They don't modify their Alpha Smarts to take away the arrow keys, take away the editing functionality, take away the ability to quickly, with the push of a single button, switch between drafts, and those are the things they built into this one. So I sound like I'm very negative on it, but I personally, I'm glad it exists. Hopefully, eventually, they come out with what they would call a single-step writing machine, where you could do your editing on the same device. But my daily driver still is this thing here. Oh, it's upside down because I put the stickers on upside down, so when I open it, it's right side up. But this is the Pomera DM100. This is a Japanese import writing machine from about 2014, and this thing is my dream come true. It's a Japanese keyboard, but you could use it to write in English. So this is still my daily driver writing machine. Wow. Well, I mean, that's Amazon. Clackaboy saying that they saw a used Alpha Smart Neo 2 for $174 on Amazon. I wonder, what are the prices on eBay? Because that's the thing. That shows the demand for those devices is up so high. If that company went out of business in 2012, if they had survived just a couple of years longer, they would have found the writing community. And the writing community would have, I think, helped support them and keep them alive to this day. And it's very sad. Now, I went on a huge rant about my frustrations with the announcement of that device. I don't have proof, but I have reason to speculate that they might have actually changed the reveal time for the alpha based on me saying that I was going to cover it. I don't want to get too... Because they didn't push the time back, they pushed it earlier. And I know that... Oh, whatever. I don't want to get... Now, so what are we doing today? We're going to be playing Donkey Kong. We're going to be reading a magazine from 1994, an Electronic Gaming Monthly from 94. Oh, yeah. That's the great thing about the, which I am announcing. I'm not announcing the name or the subject at this point, but I am writing I'm currently working on a book, using this machine. These are my daily drivers. These machines I write every day in my professional and recreational life with them, and I wish there was an English native device of this nature. But the fact that this device, whose primary function is not even to write in English, is more useful to me than the brand new writing machine that I just got yesterday, I think says enough. But I do support them. The dock is not a necessary accessory. Now, the cool thing about... I'll get this thing out again since we're talking about it. Now, the cool thing about this here... And this is 90s technology. I called the stream 90s Night. Now, the cool thing about this is that the way you transfer... Now, the cool thing about the Astro House, the Alpha device, is the free write is that it's cloud-based. So it does sync automatically to its bespoke cloud service. You could also sync with third-party stuff like Google Drive. But you don't need the dock for this. But the cool thing about this is that even though they stopped making these in 2012, this is compatible with a modern computer, a modern smartphone, as long as it takes a USB keyboard, but with a cable. Because this takes a standard USB cable, and when you plug it into a computer, it is just recognized as a USB keyboard. So the way you transfer your text in is that you open up a document, and it could be Microsoft Word, it could be Scrivener, whatever you use for your word processing, and you press a button on this, and what it does is that it goes player piano style and inputs all the text from the document that you're working on and just sends it at the fastest speed a keyboard text can be received. It basically does like treats your keyboard as though it was a player piano, and the document you wrote was a player piano roll, and it just instantly inputs all those keystrokes into your computer, and within a minute, you know, and you've watched your stuff get typed out onto there. It's kind of ironically what they call in the hacking community a bad keyboard. So they kind of future-proofed its ability to be able to input your documents into modern machines. And that's not something that my little flip-top Chimera does. Now there is actually, since I'm talking about these, yeah, it's so simple, but it's so future-proof. I don't feel like getting it. We've talked enough about writing machines. This is a gaming stream. I'm not streaming under the writing category, which I haven't done in a number of months. But yeah, so this thing, the advanced controller called this a coincidence survey. And I did get an email about how to, about the instructions for this. Okay, they did not get much packaging. Yeah, you could spend your, hey there, Reliant. Yeah, you could spend your XLO on the Sodor lore reading redeem. I haven't put up any others yet, but it's like this little USB thing. And this little dropper. I didn't look at the email for the... Okay, so before we actually got into the proper content of the stream, we did get a Sodor lore reading. And... Okay, the Let's Watch Thomas, that was not supposed to be... I'm gonna... Hold on, I have to go in real quick, and... I'm going to... Hold on, where are the rewards? Where are the rewards at? That was not supposed... I'm going to... Where's my queue? Where's my... No. I'm trying to find... Okay, request queue. Here it is. So I'm going to refund... Yeah, I'm going to refund that Let's Watch Thomas. Because that was... I'm not set up to actually be able to do the Amazon Watch Party right now. I accidentally enabled that. Where can I... How do I turn that off? Alright. Yeah, unlike the advanced controller, I actually redeem or refund people's points. That's okay. Now, okay, so... Yeah, ironically, yeah, my EGM is up. There we go. So we're going to read about the Sudrian character and a little further. The earliest known inhabitants of the island were of Celtic stock. Their language, Sudric, is a variation of Manx, but the difference is not enough to prevent Sudrians and Manx understanding each other. Whereas, however, the Manx people are a fusion of Celt and Scandinavian, Sudrian ancestry is more mixed. In addition to Scandinavian and Celt, there are many of Scots or English, mainly Cumbrian ancestry, but whoever their forebears may have been, it would seem that the Celtic strain has, in the main, prevailed. They are proud to call themselves Sudrians, and remain a remarkably close-knit community, whose main desire is to manage their own affairs without interference from those whom they dub come-overs, or foreigners. By accident of history, while the Isle of Man has retained home rule, Sodor has since the 15th century been attached to the Duchy of Lancaster, but Sudrians have never allowed that circumstance to disturb their way of life. While playing lip service to Westminster, they pursue a traditionally independent course. Through their long and stormy history as a parentage of one occupying power after another, Sudrians have learned the art of putting officious and official people in their place. Anything of which does not conform to Sudrian common sense, or their idea of the fitness of things, is politely but firmly ignored. Alright, so thank you for... Yeah, I did not mean... it was my bad. I did not intend to have that, I did not intend to have that, enabled. Now, where is... There we go. So yeah, so I don't know. There's this weird USB thing, and then an eyedropper. I do not know what these are for or what these have to do with mining XLO tokens, but I'm gonna wait for the advanced controller to actually call me and give me some instructions, because I glanced at the email. I did not read it. It seemed really weird. It had something. I'm not even gonna try to explain what the email told me to do. So let's just get into. Oh, Clackaboy is saying, have I informed the advanced controller that a certain mouse is also in possession of souvenir medallions? You know what? I bet the advanced controller wouldn't be even interested in the souvenir medallions that are at Disney theme parks right now, because given the nature of all this XLO nonsense, I'm guessing that the souvenir medallion is probably some sort of NFT nonsense. Yeah, so this is from January 1994, a year that I personally remember as a very exciting year in my life. And Azure is saying, wow, they're Sudrian, Celt, or Scot. The advanced controller is a Scot, they think. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I didn't ask what the advanced controller's nationality is. In fact, the more I try to ask for details on where they're from or who they're working for, or what this cryptocurrency is actually about, the more confusing the answers get. So yeah, so we have Mortal Kombat 2 as the cover story. I enjoyed Mortal Kombat 1 on Game Gear, and that's all I really needed. And Violence in Video Games Part 2. Yeah, he has an accent, but it's kind of an indefinable accent. And it kind of keeps changing, too, but video game violence is in the news again. This time the concern is being voiced from one of the highest levels of government, the Attorney General of the state of California. Government brings shivers down my spine. We all know what happens when government tries to correct something. It either doesn't work or it gets bound in red tape and legislation. The Attorney General of the state of California had a press conference and raised concerns about shocking and obscene displays of graphic, gratuitous violence in video games. Of course, the game in question was Sega's version of Mortal Kombat. Sega's Night Trap was also cited as another bad game. He emphasized he wasn't proposing censorship or mandatory government action. He did send letters to industry leaders, various ones. Nintendo, Sega, Acclaim, and Hasbro. I like how they're just assuming. They're just assuming video games, that, oh yeah, they're a major toy company, surely they must be involved in video games. We are deluding ourselves if we deny there is any connection between the rise in violence in our streets and the daily bombardment of youth with violent images in sports, music, television, and video games. After thinking about violence for a few months, a good analogy is the movie industry. Nintendo is the Disney of our industry. They make only G or PG games, that's it, period. Sega is more liberal. Yeah, by the time Mortal Kombat 2 came out, they definitely relaxed their censorship on third-party games on their system. And look at this huge contraption. The Game Gear, those of you who have not seen a Game Gear in person, it is no svelte device. And, yeah, so putting this huge contraption on top of it, yeah, I mean, they were a number of... No, excuse me. I said Barbie. I almost said Barbie. I'm like, no, Barbie is Mattel, not Hasbro. So we have Yoshi's Cookie, a game that I need to get the Game Boy version of it. The only cartridge version of Yoshi's Cookie, I hope they put Yoshi's Cookie for Super Nintendo on the, or even for NES on the Nintendo Switch Online's apps for it. But look, oh, we have a whole bunch of Sears Funtronics. Wow, what an age. We have Game Gear, Sega CD with on the top attached to the Genesis, the Super Nintendo, the Game Boy. Now, letter of the month, Sega's rating system. I'm not sure I agree with Sega's new rating system. I think, like movie ratings, there should be a rating between GA and MA13 because Mortal Kombat and Splatterhouse are much more violent and geared towards adults than Street Fighter 2. Yet they all received the same rating. I think the Street Fighter 2 should have received a PG rating instead, one between GA and MA13. I also think that Sega should do a better job rating their games. For example, Sylpheed for Sega CD. Look at all the bad language in that game, yet it got a GA rating. Yes, that's interesting, because they're not only saying, hey, this game was voted more violent than it should have, he's also pointing out, hey, this game got a general audience rating, and it should have been rated more severely. So that's a pretty balanced take, actually. Yeah, so lots of discussion of legislators trying to, you know, get involved in the video game industry. Get involved in terms of saying what they maybe should or shouldn't be putting out in games. And at this point, we still suffer, and a lot of this controversy was from this perception that video games are an inherently children's-only medium. So that the idea of there being a video game with, you know, content only is suitable for teenagers or adults was like, why should there be content suitable only for teens or adults in a video game when video games are for children? And we still are fighting that stigma to this day, when for decades video games have been, you know, the primary user base has been over the age of 18, and that the industry has been bigger than Hollywood. Oh gosh. Perhaps we're actually going to get some insight as to what to do with this weird little device they sent. I'm going to go ahead and put us on the full screen webcam and put us on speaker so that we know for sure that you can hear as well as me, because the stuff he says you wouldn't believe. Oh, hello.
Hey there, my good little load-bearing mammal boy and the master of peace and justice, Super Train Station H, whose blood carries oxygen.
Oxygen? Yep.
I see you have received the XLO Coincidence Survey, kid.
Yeah, what do I do with this?
All you need to do once I hang up the phone is insert the XLO Coincidence Survey device into your XLO handset Hilfmir, and you will begin mining at a standard mining rate. Your very own XLO tokens, the non-legal tender digital currency of the future. That will be yours to keep forever, Illy, to make your money hole nice and fat, big time, absolutely right now. For sure.
Money hole. Now what do I do with this?
Oh, my little gravy baby of royal lineage.
Huh.
All you need to do is follow the instructions on the email I sent you.
Instructions?
The coincidence survey will allow me to track and monitor parallel universe versions of you on other membranes, so I can call on them to replace you on your live streaming show in case something bad happens to you.
Like what?
Like if you got hit by an indoor train and had to go to your hospital room for repairs to your primate host body.
I don't find getting hit by an indoor train especially likely.
Well, it could. It's good to be prepared for emergencies.
Yes, I suppose. But I'm sort
like if an evil artificial intelligence construct went rampant and imprisoned you in an eldritch negative dimension, and you were unable to complete the show.
That would be pretty bad.
It is. Fortunately, the advanced controller of the great currency, which is me, will do everything in its power to ensure that doesn't happen this time.
This time?
Bye, baby.
This time. Indoor train. Okay. Alright, yeah, so why don't I... Well... Okay, I guess... I'm opening up the email they sent. Okay. Now, I'm supposed to... Okay, I've got the phone they sent me. I've got this. I'm supposed to put this in here. Okay, and now I have to put this in here. And now, I don't know, this is the part that freaks me out. Okay, so this is what this contraption looks like right now. They call this the coincidence survey. I've never taken a survey where I have to take my saliva and drop it on this thing. Hold on. Alright. That's nasty. Okay. Hold on, let me get some more. Make sure I got enough. Alright. And now I just press the send button, which is... There we go. Alright, so I had to spend the 25 tokens gas fee, but I'm mining again. And this time I actually get to keep the, tokens I mine. So... Alright. Last time I got an actual proper office job, I definitely didn't have to take a coincidence survey. And I don't know what exactly they mean by the term coincidence. Oh, and Megacon saying, reminds me of a Sega 32X. Alright. Where's my PDF reader? Okay. I mean, we've nearly gotten up to the point where I've mined more of these arbitrary digital units of currency. There we go. So, Psycho Letter of the Month. Yeah, oh, and Mechakong, I don't know, if you haven't been on my stream lately. Lately, I've been doing the magazine sections first. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, no, I didn't mean to do that either. Okay. There we go. Yeah, so let's check this out. Dear EGM, I think there should be a game called Barney Must Die. You would have every weapon you could possibly think of, and the game would be one big maze with Barney at the end. To make it more fun, throw in his little geek friends and kill them too. This game must contain much gore that the Barney haters have the pleasure of watching the purple fool explode into a red pile of mush. Parents, here's a great idea for your children. Remember, Christmas is coming soon. So is Barney's demise. P.S. How much would I have to pay to someone to bring me Barney's head? Wow, they actually put a hit out on Barney. Yeah, Newgrounds just a few years away. At the time, it seemed like a lifetime away. I remember like 2001 internet. Thinking back to 1994 seemed like a lifetime away, but thinking back, it was only a few years earlier. 94? The time between this issue of EGM and Newgrounds is equivalent to the time between Nintendo Switch coming out and Nintendo Switch today. We'll put it that way. Oh, and Collectaboy stream redeemed the deluxe Sodor lore reading for 2,000 XLO tokens, which go directly to the advanced controller. I do not actually see any of it, but apparently, I don't know. I really just do this for my viewers, not for me personally. Now, ironically, okay, I have to untake the switch, my switch out of the dock. Take the analog pocket out of the dock. Oh yeah, they asked, I'm sure they would have had several beat-up Barney games, so, yes. Though nearly all Sudrians are bilingual, nonetheless, I Have No English has been, and is still, a time-honored deference. No, I have no English. Oh my gosh. They just say, like, the Sudrian for I Have No English has been, and is still, a time-honored defense against unwanted foreign interference. How about... Now, how much time... I forgot how long this is... how long am I supposed to read for the deluxe Sodor lore reading, Clackaboy? Was it 3 minutes? I forgot. I honestly forgot. I'll go with 3 minutes. If it's supposed to be 5, let me know, and I'll change the timer. So, Part 2. Places in Sodor. There are a few places of note that are not served by this island's railways. In this section, we travel from east to west, stopping at each place along the Northwestern Railway main line. Branch lines come next, again from east to west, then we visit places served by lines of narrow gauge. The Northwestern Railway branch line. Let's make it 3 minutes. Okay, so we started. Barrow and Furness. The Northwestern Railway had running powers to Barrow Central Station ever since the agreement with the LMS, which is the London, Midland and Scottish Railway, in 1925. For through trains, Northwestern Railway engines are detached, and engines from the other railway, British Railways, take over. Since the 1925 agreement, the Northwestern Railway have also had their own locomotive shed, turntable, and servicing facilities here. There's also a joint goods yard for exchange of traffic. The bridge over the Walney Channel. Visitors to Barrow and Barrow's inhabitants too may think there is only one road bridge here. This is an illusion. In addition to the Jubilee Bridge, there is also a double-track railway bridge, the property of the Northwestern Railway. It is a Schweitzer rolling lift bridge of some 120-foot span, designed by Mr. Topham Hatt and erected in 1915 when the Northwestern Railway was built. Till 1977, when the Jubilee Bridge was built, the Northwestern Railway had the car ferry rights over their bridge and worked in intensive and profitable service. When the road bridge was built to celebrate the Queen's Jubilee, Sir Topham Hatt saw to it that the Northwestern Railway were given substantial compensation for the extinguishment of their ferry rights. British Rail have running powers over the bridge to enable them to operate their share of the joint Northwestern Railway and British Railway suburban service between Barrow and Normanby, as agreed with the London Midland Scottish Railway in 1925. Next we've got Vickerstown, often misspelled Vickerstown. The monkish chronicler Arnold of Cronk records that in 1150 Cronk Abbey was founded as a daughter house of the Furness Abbey. The abbot of Furness asked for a grant of land on which his agent or vicar could build a residence. King Ogmund, suspecting this might lead to English infiltration, would only grant him land for a house here, hence the place's name. In 1915, the Northwestern Railway built the main motive power depot and administrative headquarters here, but following the Northwestern Railway and London Midland Scottish Railway agreement of 1925, there was no longer any need for the Vickerstown shed. It was closed in 1927 and 28, and a smaller one erected for engines operating the car ferry service. The turntable was taken up and installed at Barrow. Thomas was the station pilot at Vickerstown until he escaped with a goods train, and narrowly missing the disaster on Gordon's Hill, stopped a few yards short of the buffers at Wellsworth. Gordon overshoots the turntable here. So that's all enough lore for Thomas lore reading for now. Thank you for redeeming your XLO tokens, the unofficial electronic money of tomorrow, for your Sodor lore reading. So scrolling onward. Yeah, so varying photo quality. I've been a reader of EGM for quite a few years, and believe me, as soon as there's an issue in the bookstore, I buy a copy. I live and breathe video games and probably have one of the largest collections of cards in our state. I have a problem with the magazine. I'm done reading it the first week, and the next 3 weeks I have nothing to do. I get the video game applications, blow through them in a day, so to occupy the rest of my time, I go over the issue very carefully. I mean really close. They talk about how there's just different copies. But look, they have this Jaguar here, and they have... Look at this. We believe the Jaguar has a great future in store for it, especially since its price is only $250. It'll probably take the number 3 spot as soon as the systems and games are available nationwide. Now, this unit is has the Jaguar CD equipped to it that makes it look a lot like a toilet. Fantastic Journey. Wolfchild. I never heard of that. I've seen ads for this game. I have no idea what this is. I just know this art style. Very 90s magazine ad art style. Now, check... No, this is interesting. More NES bashing. I've been reading your magazine for several years and I've never been disappointed with the way you handle your job of playing video game news to the uninformed masses until now. In issue 52, you addressed the new design of the NES as a useless endeavor, calling it a dinosaur, a useless waste of time, money, and effort. Also, with the advent of the more powerful systems, the amount of NES bashing you do is multiplied. I take advantage to this. Has the staff at EGM forgotten when they single-handedly accomplished, not more than a few years ago, a stagnant video game scene still reeling from the crash of the early 80s, barely held up by computers, and until here comes Nintendo, With their historic first game system, sales of cartridges and systems skyrocket. Which was once thought of as a stupid fad was now deemed a hobby. Yeah, it's still deemed a stupid fad, sadly, like nearly 30 years later. The ensuing mayhem causes many magazines catering to fans of the ever-growing phenomenon to be born or resurrected, including the popular and excellent EGM. You guys wouldn't have jobs today if it wasn't for Nintendo. Now, with the dawn with the 32, 64, and CD-ROM technology, the poor NES is showing its age, losing ground, and probably getting ready for the graveyard of obsolete game systems. The problem I have is the fact that you keep downplaying it, ridiculing it for trying to survive. I find this akin to spitting on its grave. You should be devoting more time to its persistence and accomplishments, not saying that because a better machine is coming along, all NESs should be thrown to the junk heap. The bottom line is, even though I love the Super Nintendo, I'll probably buy Project Reality if it ever materializes. Wow, imagine an age in which the N64 is still a maybe. There's uncertainty as to if N64, what would become known as N64, is even going to materialize as an actual retail product. Alex Gold of Smithtown, New York. Since you state you're a frequent reader, yeah, I don't feel like reading all this, but the future of NES still looks bleak despite some owners' strong interest. Now, this is interesting. This looks like a render of, or a prototype of the redesigned NES, but the controller we have here is completely different than what actually released with the redesigned NES. That's interesting. So we have a Lawnmower Man game. I know nothing about Lawnmower Man except that it has something to do. It's a movie that has something to do with virtual reality, and it's from the early 90s. Super Empire Strikes Back. And I've always found this, we've seen this artwork for Super Bomberman Party Pack before, but I find it fascinating the way they they would sometimes totally Americanize the Bomberman artwork. But here, what it looks like what they did is actually make American artwork of the Japanese design for a Bomberman. Because sometimes they do this totally edgy redesign where it looks like sort of a gritty Western-style Space Marine. And Megacom giving some input on Lawnmower Man. It's a good movie, but make sure I watch the director's cut, which is almost an hour longer and much better. You know, it's kind of interesting how many things they made as movies that perhaps would have thrived better as, you know, 2 or 3 episode miniseries. You have like a Mega Man X as a game of the month. And this is a game I've played on Super Nintendo around 2003. I got 80% of the way through the game and never actually beat it, basically because I just got sick of it because I was grinding in the game, playing it a lot. And then I ended up, what really killed is that I misplaced the codes, the document I was using to keep the codes. I was using to, you know, this game uses a password system. I misplaced my passwords. But Mega Man X is very interesting because they were still coming out with the NES Mega Man games, and so that instead of bringing the numbered main Mega Man series directly over to Super Nintendo and discontinuing the NES series, they brought over Mega Man X, a new sort of futuristic, well, even more futuristic setting, after the, you know, about a few centuries after the era of Mega Man, long after the passing of Dr. Light, where robot technology has advanced far beyond the era of Mega Man X, but Dr. Light, who created the original Mega Man, sort of designed a robot that was only possible with future that was centuries down the line. Very interesting concept, but yeah, I'm just saying it's a great game. Art of Fighting. We have a rebate for this. Muhammad Ali, Jack Dempsey, Larry Holmes, Joe Frazier. Yeah, a lot of yeah, very few of these names. I mean, Muhammad Ali. If you aren't like a boxing fan, like only a few of these names really probably get your attention these days. But it's really just sort of a snapshot of you know, some of the bigger name boxers that would have been known. Oh, this couldn't wait till the 21st century. The X generation of oh wow, they're explaining the concept of Mega Man X. As his last great creation, Dr. Light developed X, the first thinking, decision-making robot. Yeah, because one of the ideas they explore is that Mega Man was good because he was programmed to be good, whereas X actually has free will and the ability to make his own decisions, which, given the current AI revolution that's going on now, is a very topical subject of consideration. Now, We have a Doom game, Eternal Champions. Ah, wow, look at all these. Fatal Fury, Ren and Stimpy. This is for... And Calaca Boy's asking, do I still have that big snake plushie from one of my old YouTube videos? Perhaps I can add a Doorworm Redemption, XLO Redemption of me showing it off on camera. I mean, that snake, okay, that big snake plushie, that snake plushie is way, way bigger than a Doorworm. A Doorworm would be like about the diameter of a United States quarter. Whereas that snake plushie is so big that once for Halloween, I used to wear these big baggy pants with all these belts all over them like I was a Kingdom Hearts character. And I actually, the pants were big enough that I put the snake like in my pants so that like the back half of the snake was hanging out the back, so it looked like I had a huge snake tail, which is honest. And people were like, "Wow, that's amazing!" Like, and not furries either, because I didn't even know any furries at the time. But like, just people are like, "Wow, that's a really great snake tail. Where'd you get that?" I'm like, "No, it's just a plush snake. I don't have it anymore, though." That was a silly impulse purchase I made back in high school. Yeah, I think we've read enough for now. Maybe we'll dig into this magazine more next time. But for now, let's actually get to our game. Our main game, which is Donkey Kong. We got up to... Let's check this out. Yeah, we got up to... Let's see what we're up to. Hey there, Bill Preston. Oh my gosh, I never... You know, Bill, you're the first. You're the first to put sunglasses on... Lunarian H like that, and it looks pretty cool. Yes, we're up to the jungle. We were at the forest before, then we had a ship. Now we're at the jungle. I swear, now that I actually get to keep these XLO tokens, I feel like I'm mining them a lot slower than I did before. Oh, this music's funky. I played through like the first couple of worlds like back in like 2003 or 4. I've never seen all this before. Yeah, this is definitely taking strongly from Donkey Kong Jr. Now, for those who aren't familiar with the Donkey Kong Jr. mechanics, for those who aren't familiar with the mechanics of this game, for Donkey Kong Jr., if you climb up one vine, it's slower. Climbing up with two vines is faster because you have two grips. But you can slide down faster when you're on one rope than when you're on two ropes. So you have to swiftly... Oh. I lured you into... No! Okay. I thought I was going to die right there. I really did think I was going to die. And Bill's saying they're only able to get this game from a friend they played maybe 2 worlds in. Yeah, I played... I'm looking forward to the Mario vs. Donkey Kong remake, but I've played more of Mario... I beat the main campaign of Mario vs. Donkey Kong. I've never played through this before. I knew this was even years back. Even before streaming was a thing, I knew that someday I would want to do maybe a Let's Play of this. Come on. No. Okay. Huh. I'm gonna have to take a jump and... No! I died. And their friend also let you play Link's Awakening, which they spent way more time with that. Okay. You know, it's interesting. I had Link's Awakening, and Link's Awakening, that first came to my home in '94. So the year this came out, but the year after Link's Awakening came out, and it's the first time I actually saw a Zelda game. Now I knew of Zelda from seeing commercials for the original Legend of Zelda, which I saw when I was little, but I really remembered because they were on videotape. of the Smurfs that my grandma recorded, because she used to record a lot of cartoons for me that were just on TV, because we didn't have, you know, Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network. Yeah, gotcha. Alright, we're gonna have to figure out... Huh. Okay, I'll take it. But they played the previous 3, so they were excited to play the one that you're capable of playing on the bus to school. Yeah, my brother brought it home. He like traded a friend for it or something, but I didn't get into it until a little later in the 90s. But okay. There we go. Okay, we did get all 3. Yeah, that was a very cool that was a very cool copy of well, I mean the copy my brother got. It was very, and my brother, he was familiar with Link's Awakening. No, with Link to the Past. So he's like, and I guess whoever was playing, the guy got this game from was already playing it, and they got the first dungeon, so they're like, wow, this Zelda game's weird, it has a guitar in it. And they're coming saying they didn't play Link's Awakening until the DX version. Now that's interesting, because I played the black and white version, and I first played it on a black and white Game Boy. So in my experience, like, I prefer playing... I am very frustrated with the general lack of availability of digital or any form of re-release of the original black and white version of Link's Awakening. Because generally, like on virtual console services or in Switch Online, they make the Game Boy Color enhanced port. And the thing is, the Game Boy Color port, people think of Link's Awakening DX as a Game Boy Color game, but it actually will work on an original Game Boy. However, the only form of re-release of the original version of Link's Awakening Nintendo's ever done is on the Zelda Game & Watch, which is kind of wild to me. So I'm gonna, when I play Link's Awakening, it'll be off my original cartridge. I don't get this. How am I supposed to... Oh my gosh. So there's some... Okay, I think I get a sense of what they want me to do. We're almost up to 100... I swear we had like more than 1,000 XLO tokens before, but now that these are like the official tokens I'm supposedly get to keep, I'm barely getting any. Okay, I get it, game. I see what you want me to do. I love the animation, the way Mario reaches. And boy, oh boy, are these time limits tight. Oh my goodness. Okay, we got all 3 of the of Pauline's personal affects. Wait till this goes right over Mario's head. And trigger the rock to fall. And get to the door. Yeah, I can't say when Link's Awakening will end up on my stream. Likely not this year. But when I do play it, I do want to play it alongside the Switch version, which I do have a copy of. And Claggable was saying they never played Link's Awakening, but they have the Switch remake they need to play. Yeah, and then the great thing is, I have not played through Link's Awakening. The last time I sat down and played Link's Awakening was around 2006. It was like pretty early into college for me. And it was as a result of getting my Game Boy Pocket. I only played through the first like 3 dungeons, and before that I had not played it since 1998. So I am as fresh on the game as reasonably possible. look. This game keeps surprising me with all the new music they throw in. So this Monkey's Tale is kind of a portable... Hey there, Turbo Graphics. Yeah, we're playing Donkey Kong for Game Boy. This is a game that I almost got back in the 90s. Because I was fascinated by 80s arcade games, which at the time felt like ancient history just because, you know, those earlier 80s arcade games were before I was born. But at the time, I'm like, wow, these games are only like a year out of date, which is kind of wild to think of. And it was really before you just barely got the beginnings of making new versions of these games available on modern systems. And I was like, okay, and I basically had the choice between either Pac-Man or Donkey Kong for Game Boy. And I decided to get Pac-Man because I was more interested in the social phenomenon surrounding Pac-Man. Wow, for a very complicated looking stage, that was very simple to actually complete. Yeah, so Pac-Man was a pretty straight translation of the arcade game, even though you either had to choose between having little tiny, almost microscopic graphics for the maze to have it up full screen, or being able to view it only a quarter of the screen but have the maze scroll when you view it at full size. Meanwhile, I had no idea that Donkey Kong, yeah, it had the first 4 stages from the arcade game, but it turned into a full-fledged puzzle platformer with more than 100 stages. And we're playing this, TurboGrafx, if you weren't in stream when I mentioned it, we're playing this as part of the lead-up. There we go, let's go for that 3 in the 2 o'clock position. Oh, we got the 1. Hey, it's better than none. You have to get at least 1 extra life here. And we're up to the mini-boss stage, a mini-boss fight against Donkey Kong. This one looks like it has 2 mini-boss fights. Hey, Donkey... Hey, Mecha Kong, look, just for you, it's Donkey Kong Jr. I definitely did not play this far because I would have been aware if he was in the game. I would have seen him in the game. Yeah, he's on the box art, but I didn't realize I didn't know he was I never actually saw him in the game. This is very interesting. Yeah, so that means this game stars that confirms that this game definitely stars yeah, our main Donkey Kong here is the future Cranky Kong, and Donkey Kong Jr. there is the Donkey Kong we play as in Donkey Kong Country. Alright. Huh. Oh gosh. Worst timing ever? Alright. This better not be too weird, Advanced Controller. We'll go full webcam for this. I'll put it on speaker. And if he says anything outrageous, we'll actually get it on camera, because he says some weird stuff. Hello.
Hello, my butt baby super crane staging H.
Butt baby.
I'm just calling to say how glad I am that you are enjoying mining your XLO tokens, the non-legal tender digital currency of the future. The true and legitimate money Hilfmir, the good and honest electronic moolah, which is severely guaranteed not to be part of a convoluted scam to compensate the families of victims using digital currency mined by people I consider easily manipulated.
I'm glad too. What were you saying about victims?
So am I.
Okay.
Good night, sugar pie.
Sugar
Oh,
pie.
must be so.
Hello? What were you saying about victims of something? Hello? Hello? Alright. Fine. At least he kept it short. At least he kept it short. Damn it, Adcon. You got me killed. Alright. Whatever. Usually he just goes on, rants on and on. But at least he kept that one short. Why am I... Yeah, I have no idea. I only have 2 XLO to... I've been on 98. You know, I wonder if he's playing per minute. Oh, and Clockboy saying the advanced controller sounds kind of like Winnie the Pooh. I should ask him to say, oh bother. You know what? I just realized I guess suppose the stream is banned in China now. Not that I had anyone watching me from the mainland China that I know of, but... No! Oh gosh. I think I might have actually died from the fall height anyway. Alright, let's give this a shot. So the only obstacle here is Donkey Kong Jr. Pulling that switch intermittently. There we go, so we found the spot to, No! Oh my... Okay. Wasn't quite expecting that. I should have been ready for it, but... Any reference to Winnie the Pooh is illegal in the People's Republic of China. And I'm not kidding. So if someone, like, if, like, some government official watched the stream and thought that the advanced controller's voice sounded too much like Winnie the Pooh, I could actually go to jail. Alright, let's duck right. Aha! There we go. I've been sitting on 99 XLO tokens for a long time, and I don't know why. It says that the mining app is online. I guess, Oh, it went to 100. They wonder why that is. I don't want to get... Oh wow, there's like a mini mushroom in this? Oh, hey there, Digidoggy. Yeah, so let me catch you up. And by the way, if you want to watch a robot dog play video games, you should definitely watch a Digidoggy. Maybe as a silicon-based life form, you can give me some input. Yeah, so I was listening to this, actually, I could just, yeah, that is, all of the, everything that's happened so far, but I was listening to this online radio station, started getting really specific ads for a train DVD, and to call this creepy phone number, and I ended up actually calling the number just to see what happened, and this creepy voice sent me this phone and these floppy disks, and I ended up installing them, and it caused me to start mining what they call the digital currency of the future, but they keep making excuses as to why I can't keep the coins I've mined, and I had to insert this thing into it, which came with an eyedropper that I had to put my spit onto so they could take a DNA sample, which they call the coincidence control survey. I don't know what that means, but it let me actually start mining these tokens again. So, yeah, not to put you on the spot, I wouldn't expect that you have anything to do with them because you're nice, and this advanced controller, as they call themselves, is kind of creepy and rude and awkward. Okay. Yeah, so, but we've been playing Donkey Kong for Game Boy. Which is, yeah, it's been pretty sus, but unlike most, digital asset-related fraud, this has somehow not cost me anything out of pocket. I installed they're not asking me to pay for any of this stuff, they're just giving it to me for free. So as long as I don't have to pay any actual legal tender currency, I don't care if they take these arbitrary digital coins I've been mining. However, all the XLO tokens that my viewers have been mining are safe in their channel point totals, and the advanced controller hasn't taken any of them as far as I'm aware. Oh, what a cute... I know the bats are enemies in this game, but it's a very adorable bat sprite. Yeah, if they take a blood sample, I think that'll maybe be taking it... Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gravy. Okay. At least now, I'm in a position to get back over here without having to worry about that coconut crab. Yeah, I wish bats... Like, aside from Arrow the Acrobat for Super Nintendo or Genesis. Oh yeah, we were reading, speaking of Super Nintendo and Genesis, we were reading an EGM from January 1994 earlier. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of retro game magazine reading. We've been, over the last several streams, been doing a lot of streams specifically about, a lot of magazine reading specifically about Donkey Kong 94. But now that we are, and of course it takes forever to, yeah, there we go. No! Okay, we got the key, we got the key. We got the key. We good. We good. Wow, you could... If you throw the key in mid-air, it resets his fall height, it looks like. That's a good trick to know for the future. It's sort of like the equivalent of, like, maybe ground pounding in Mario 64, when you fall from a great height, and then, you know, it sort of resets your fall. Now, a slot machine. Now, I have a funny history with slot machines. Being in... yeah, I guess just because I was... Like, I don't know. Oh, yeah, yeah, I'll mention it later. There's something else I meant to talk about. That's why I had some stuff to show off. I got a new spinner. I don't have it with me. But, Claudio was saying, it would be nice if I could redeem XLO tokens for one of my favorite crepes. Yeah, I don't know any place that actually deals in XLO tokens in the real world, so all your XLO tokens you're free to spend right here on my stream. But yeah, I love slot machines since I was a little autistic kid that loved windmills and pinwheels and stuff like that. The idea that there was a machine where you pulled a lever and pushed buttons and spinning wheels and flashing lights ensued. Like, yeah, I loved the idea of slot machines when I was a little kid. Now, I never actually got to be in the presence of a slot machine until I went to my friend's sort of bachelor party, which is a weekend at a resort casino, and they had most of the slot machines nowadays are this giant touchscreen nonsense where it's like a giant cell phone and it's dumb and stupid. But they had for the senior citizens, they had a section with some older slot machines from the mid 80s, it looked like, or the early 90s, and they actually had the lever you could pull. And I'm like, all right. I always wanted to like actually pull the lever on a slot machine and see the wheel spin. It was fun, and I didn't actually want to make any money. I don't care about gambling. I was just hanging out with my friends. But like the third or fourth pull, they were like 50-cent slots, right? And the third or fourth pull, I got like $10, and I was like, that's it. I can't play anymore. I got more than I started with. I have to stop now. Which is like the exact opposite of how they count on people playing. They tend to think, wow, I won money, let me keep playing so I can win even more money. Which is how they nail you. No, okay. Now, this looks like a tricky... Oh! And Bill Preston saying they work in a casino as a dealer. Now, that's interesting. Now, I'm very particular, like, different board games. Like, when I play board games, I typically have to be in a very quiet environment to play them well, and also card games. And I'll be straight with you, Bill Preston. The card games I like to play tend to be what are considered, like, children's card games. Oh, I see what I could do with these. I see, I could take these. Could I? Do I do blackjack? Oh, I can't put them there. I thought I might be able to put blocks to... I haven't played blackjack in a very, very long time, but the games I tend to play are kind of like what are seen as children's card games. And I remember playing War, and like the joke me and my friends play War. It's like, yay, everyone's favorite procedural activity, War. Because, like, there's no genuine game aspect to War. It is just a procedural activity that oh, I get it. It's made of sand. I get it. You know, it's kind of funny. Bill Preston saying they do everything but craps. Now, I have some backgammon dice on my desk because I like backgammon. Oh, I also have a doubling cube from backgammon because I have my custom backgammon set. I got all the parts for it from here and there to make a set I like for myself. But yeah, backgammon dice have that very particular sort of rounded edge to them. And because the ones I have also have I have a set of blue dice and chips on my backgammon set, but I usually use the red and white one because the board is like green felt with red and white places. Yeah, no, I'll tell you something. Well, I was at my friend's table. They got like a private table, and like the rules at the table were really weird. He got like a really. It was like whatever it was, like someone walked up the table and like some random person outside of our little party, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is a private table," and he's like, "Huh." Like that's and like whatever. I forgot the rules, but the rules were like two sets of rules that are very rarely put together. They're valid, and I guess probably because of my various flavors of Brain Special. You know what? They do not regenerate. They don't regenerate. Wow. I thought they would regenerate. I didn't think they would wow, that's very interesting. Yeah, because my various favorites of Brain Special, being in a game room, you know, in a casino, and having to keep track of the rules for poker, which I basically had just learned, it did not fit. It did not go very well. I could not really functionally play the game that well. I was having fun. I was with my friends, but I could not functionally play the game well and strategize and everything. So I just folded every single round. Huh. Wait, can I? Wait, if I put... Oh, I get it. I get it. That's clever. That's clever. I see what I'm supposed to do. Let's go ahead and end this attempt so that we can... Yeah, and the dealer actually was so annoyed at me because I was like every single turn I folded because my brain cannot keep up with all this noise and stimulation. That's before I don't have them with me, but I have these high frequency noise reflectors that I have now that make functioning in loud, busy environments a lot more practical for me, a lot more bearable, and I did not have those at the time. So every single turn, I was just like, yeah, I fold. And the dealer was like, you know you could do other things, right? He's like, yeah, I fold. Yeah, most dealers are neutral, but yeah, he was like, he wasn't upset, but he was very confused and like flustered. But Digidog is saying this version of Donkey Kong is truly the best evolution of the original formula. Yeah, this actual particular copy has... I love the copies that have this wear and tear on them because you know they're authentic, you know they have a story behind them. Some kid back in the 90s tore them up. But I'm playing this Digidoggy in preparation for Mario vs. Donkey Kong's remake on Nintendo Switch. Now, Mario vs. Donkey Kong I played back in 2004, never replayed it since. I played Mario vs. Donkey Kong, and then after this I went back and played this because I knew... After I passed up this game in favor of the Game Boy Color, in favor of the Game Boy, plain Game Boy version of Pac-Man. Oh yeah, oh okay. Oh, if you don't, this is not an actual Game Boy. For full disclosure, this is an Analog Pocket, which is Analog's FPGA option to run the games and cartridges on real time off of the original cartridges. Now I have a large collection of physical games. I was first interested in Analog's options before Analog has this sort of certain mystique to it, what some might even consider a certain snob appeal. I don't care about having fancy equipment. When it comes to retro games, especially ones that are not available digitally or re-released in any form that benefits the developers or publishers or rights holders, play the game in whatever manner that's accessible to you, that gives you the experience that you're looking for. Oh yeah, there's an Analog dock that you can get with it. And honestly, if the dock did not exist, I would not have bothered getting the Analog Pocket. There's an adapter that lets me play Game Gear cartridges. Before the Pocket, I played cartridges for Game Gear using the Analog Mega SG and its Game Gear adapter. And it was actually the announcement of the Analog Mega SG, and the Analog Mega SG was announced before Analog had this sort of wider popularity it has now, where you have like Elijah Wood tweeting about trying to get their hands on one. Oh yeah, if you don't have, and I would say, and the thing is, I have a large physical library, but I got my physical library back when these games were just considered kind of junk. Obsolete junk and not as serious, oh my goodness. Like my NES, I literally, in 1998, I got my NES out of my neighbor's trash. Literally out of my neighbor's trash. As they were moving away and out of my life forever. Like, they were in their SUV, and I was crying and waving goodbye, and then I saw they had their NES in the trash. I'm like, wait, can I have this NES? Like, yeah, sure, take it. And it was in the trash, sticking on the top, and I took it. I took it home. My parents did not let me keep it at the time, so I gave it to my neighbor. And then what felt like a lifetime later in 1999, actually it was like 2000 or 99, I got it back from them, and my parents let me keep it at that point. But ironically, at that point, I had already purchased an NES from... No, it had to be 99, because that's the year that I got the NES from the... Yeah, they got NES from the flea market on Surf Avenue in Coney Island. And I got it home and it didn't work. So, what do? My NES doesn't work? I called Nintendo of America and set up a repair. And when I got the NES back... Oh, you know what? I just realized what I need to do, I think. I just realized what I need to do. I got the NES alongside a whole bunch of, I got cartridge cleaners, posters, leaflets, pamphlets about the NES. Nintendo, the NOA employees knew this is probably one of the last times we're ever going to get to fix a customer's NES. So they hooked me up with all of the NES, paraphernalia that they had and just gave it all to me. They didn't let me keep it at the time, they let me keep it later on. Because at the time, I'd just gotten my N64 not long after it released, and the attitude my parents kind of had at the time was like, well, you have the newest system out, you don't need this old, obsolete system. So, yeah, as far as I'm aware, I am the last person I've ever heard of having their Nintendo Entertainment System serviced by Nintendo of America. Now, I know in Japan, they were servicing the Famicom up until 2000, and up until the late 2000s, believe it or not. So here's what I want to do. So, okay. So I'm going to put this about there. And see what the situation looks like. Oh. I did not mean to put that... Oh no. Doggone, I gotta do it again. Oh yeah, the Famicom Disk System kiosks were still operating until the mid-2000s. And I'm impressed that those Famicom Disk System discs still actually function fairly reliably. I remember thinking, I remember thinking about in 2004, literally 20 years ago, man, it's a shame those Famicom discs probably aren't going to be functional for much longer. Meanwhile, it's so interesting how the technology played out, because from the Japanese perspective, Super Mario Bros. Was sort of marketed as being one of the last major cartridge releases for the Famicom before the disc system became the primary medium for Famicom games. And then over the years, the cartridge technology caught back up to such a point that the disc system was no longer that much of an advantage. Alright, I have relative... Oh, you know what? We'll get him onto the second one. Good, good, okay, good, good, good. And Digidoggy saying the discs are open in the area a lot, not just the systems as much. I've never seen an actual Famicom. I've seen Famicom cartridges. I've never seen a Famicom disk system unit before. Actually, I'm gonna put it right there. No, I can't. I can't put it there. We're running out of time. Yeah, I've never seen a Famicom disk system unit except for at the museum display that they have at Nintendo New York in New York City. But I'll tell you what, Digidog, have you ever? I don't know if you've ever been to the Nintendo store in New York, but they have the Nintendo Advanced Video System prototype on display there sometimes, and I actually saw it. I'm like, I remember reading about this thing in Game Over, Press Start to Continue by David Sheff back in like 1999. I never dreamed I would actually lay eyes on the unit myself. Oh. And Digidog is saying that the units themselves often need the rubber belts replaced, but they're otherwise fairly reliable. Yeah, they've been 28 states. New York is not one of them, and I hope they can check it out someday. I hope you do too. And if you ever go there, I can tell you some cool places to go, but yeah, there's some cool stuff you could see just riding the subway in New York without even actually. Like, hey, I mean, and I say like, there's cool stuff you can see riding the subway, and a lot of people's first reaction is, what is there to see out the subway window? There's just tunnels. And I'm like, I could see the New York City, from my station on the New York City subway, I could see the Manhattan skyline on the horizon to the north, I could see the Atlantic Ocean to the south, and it was an elevated platform, and on the ground there were like sort of brambly woodsy areas where there were rabbits running around on the sand dunes. It is, when I lived, on Long Island after I moved from New York, and I went to college there, and there were professors like English. I'd write about experiences in New York, living in my neighborhood, which was Arvern and Rockaway, and the professors, I got some comments from professors saying it doesn't seem realistic that a place like this would exist in New York City. Because I'd write a lot of fantasy stuff, and then I'd also write stuff, and then I just write about stuff growing up in the neighborhood I was in, and I'm like, the neighborhood I lived in literally sounds like something from a work of fantasy. This mixture of, beaches and the mixture of city stuff and sort of beachside stuff. And I can... Yes, I miss it, but I'm glad I'm far away from there. Digidog is saying, I want to make them spend an hour talking about all the different subways and light rails they've been on. They want to rank them now. As I was saying, it's like the Walking Dead in the subway since COVID on some lines, that New York is gone. I don't know, I can't say how much, I don't know. In the times I've been back to New York in Manhattan, I've been to Rockaway since post-COVID. I feel like, I don't know. I mean, I'm in a position where I also remember pre-9/11 New York as well, which is kind of interesting. Like, because when people hear. But I don't want to get too deep into that and make the stream into a big downer. However, hold on. Oh, you know what? I just realized... Oh, no! Doggone! Okay. Now I gotta collect the key. Okay, I did it. I pulled it off. I actually... Alright, might as well put that there. That's not what I intended to do. Now that I have a sense of what I want to do with these blocks. Oh. Okay. I almost left the key hanging. Alright. This is going to be a lot easier than oh my goodness. Unfortunately, those do not instantly kill you. No, not this time. How about there? Oh, but yeah, Digidoggy, if you want to rank the light rails you've been on, you can do as many as you want. I've only been on one light rail. I've only been on one light rail. I've only been on one streetcar. Not counting museum trains. But I've only been on one light rail and one street running streetcar service, or tramway as they'd call it in Europe. And I've got an... Actually, this is a good moment. No. Okay. Alright, I see what I've got to do. I'm just gonna... I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing. Oh, I didn't know I could get rid of them that way. You know what? Wait! I swear, those... Oh, so they only don't kill you if you're not already holding a key. Alright, now's a good moment for... Oh, and Digidoggy's saying, Seattle's light rail has bad coverage, but the train tonight Atlantis has Venerable Marta is clunky, but nostalgic and has decent coverage. The Boston subways, the green line is old and clunky and serpentine, but the red line is fairly nice even if they never seem to be on time. Yeah, no, the first one I saw was the River Line in New Jersey. I saw it, and that's interesting because that is a diesel-operated street railway, and that is not especially common. Even in Europe, it's not often you see a diesel-powered streetcar. Whereas the other ones I've ridden on were all electric. But let me put on a break real quick, because unfortunately if I do not put on an ad myself, Amazon is going to do it for me, and I think it's silly that anyone should have to pay to subscribe to me to not have an ad-free experience. So I'm going to put it on now, stretch, refill my water bottle, and all the while, and meanwhile, I will be back in a minute, so you can go stretch, do the same. I'll trigger the ad to run, and when we come back, we'll play more Donkey Kong. Actually, yeah, we'll play up to the next mini-boss, and then we'll switch over to Revenge of the Gator Pinball. How about that? So I will see you in, let's make it 4 minutes. And thank you very much for watching. Oops! Thanks, Mecha Kong. Yeah, I just, for some reason, had this sense that, I don't know why, I have no idea why, but I had this sense that, I don't know why, but I just wanted to show this off to Digidoggy in particular, if they're still around, that, yeah, this is the new word processor drafting machine thing from Astro House that I, just got in the mail yesterday. First piece of electronics that I ever crowdfunded, and got as, you know, as my reward for contributing, because they have a good history of actually putting out the products they promise. But it's not at all going to replace my daily driver word processor, which is, please go into the case. Yeah, which is my Pomera DM100 here, the word processor I had imported from Japan. And if anyone's wondering, yes, it does have different stickers, because I have several of these, because I need several of these, just because. But I'm going to go on to our Sodor lore reading interface, and we're going to read a little bit of deep lore from the world of Thomas the Tank Engine, and then get back to, for 3 minutes actually, I owe you. So, all right. So read on a bit. So, the the Northwestern Railway was built as a strategic railway line in time of emergency in 1915. Speed and cheapness of construction were paramount. A single line bore only was cut, and the up and down lines gauntleted. While work was in progress, a section midway collapsed, leaving two tunnels, the western 1 mile and the eastern, or Henry's, 450 yards. Following the Henry incident of 1922, a second bore was cut to provide a double line. Note, tunnel scenes and, those books mentioned there were incorrectly interpreted by the artists. Crovan's Gate. This town is so named because of the narrow pass, once much narrower than at present, since road and railway builders have enlarged it. This pass has for centuries been the only practicable route from the east into the interior. King Godred Crovan, with 300 men, held some 4,000 Normans at bay here for a day until reinforcements under Jarl Sigmund and Thorkel could arrive and occupy the surrounding heights. Then, feigning retreat, Crovan lured the Normans through the gap, which Sigmund then closed. The Normans were thus pinned down in a narrow space where they had no room and to use their superior horsemanship except in trying to escape from what had become a virtual massacre. Thomas the Tank Engine, everybody! Apart from its military importance, Crovan's Gate has been an agricultural market town till the 18th century. The Crovan's Gate Mining Company made it the headquarters for their operations at Ward Fell and the Skarloey Valley, see below Skarloey Railway. In 1915, the Northwestern Railway established repair shops here. Since 1925, these shops have been expanded as required till, with the decline of steam on the mainland, the works were now equipped with machinery and craftsmen to tackle any type of steam locomotive overhaul or rebuilding that may be needed. Next, Dark Tom. Next we have Kelsthorpe Road. The town of Kelsthorpe gets its name from Thorkel of Norwich. He and Godred Crovan fought on opposite sides at the Battle of Stamford Bridge in 1066. Both were wounded and struck up a friendship afterwards. When Saxon residence to William I collapsed in 1067, Thorkel was so disgusted that he marched his men across to the Lancashire coast. There they were welcomed in Sodor and granted land in return for help when required in defense of the island. Note that Kelsthorpe Road is the junction for the Kirk Ronan branch. We have a little other details here. Next we have Kildane. Originally Kildane, the Church of the Devil, an allusion to the circle of standing stones on the plateau above the village. There was a we ran out of time, so we don't get to read about the Church of the Devil in Thomas the Tank Engine. Instead we go back to Donkey Kong, and thank you very much, Azurest, for redeeming your premium tokens on the Sodor lore reading. Premium tokens, excuse me, I mean the XLO token, the unsanctioned, unregulated electronic money of tomorrow, or whatever it is he keeps calling it. So this stage is a little... What?! I tried to be fancy and ended up instantly dying. I thought I'd get more height out of doing the handstand jump. Alright. And... there we go. Alright. Huh. I feel like there's something they want... I feel like there's something they want me to do with these blocks that I haven't done yet. Wait a second. Let me look at something. Why have a place to climb up here? Is there something up here that I'm not hip to yet? Okay, that's not doesn't mean much to me. Alright, shimmy down here, grab the key, And over here we jump, and over here we jump, and there we go. Yeah, it's so interesting. Normally sand, when you see something made of sand like that, it's often the case that it will... Huh. No. Yeah, so they knock you down when you don't have a key. That's so interesting. They knock you down if you're holding a key. But if you're not holding a key, they instantly kill you. That's why I got so complacent around them, because they had knocked me down so often that I was like, oh, these things must not be lethal. Like, that was not cool. Okay. I needed to... Now I'm at the point where I'm tempted to rush, because I'm anxious to get back to where I was at to continue making progress. And instead I end up getting sloppy and getting taken out by earlier parts of the stage that I've already mastered. It's the first time in a while I'm sub 29 lives. I was sub 30 lives. Any remaining deaths I'd like to be due to timing out. You know what? I've taken more deaths trying to get that stupid hat than I'm gonna get from, Okay. Okay. Huh. That's interesting. I just discovered that... So start brings up that, but select brings up... That's very interesting. Oh my doggone... Yeah, I gotta take the death here. There's no way I could complete the stage now. I did not expect... Yeah, I never soft-locked myself in that manner before. Yeah, and Digidog was saying earlier that this was like the ultimate form of, you know, the Donkey Kong formula that you know, started in the arcade, really, you know, progressed with this, making it this puzzle platformer type thing with these arcade scoring elements and time limits. Then Mario vs. Donkey Kong on Game Boy Advance was the only proper sequel we got to this. Because after Mario vs. Donkey Kong, the sequel was March of the Minis, which was a Lemmings clone about toy Mario characters, and not a puzzle platforming sequel to this game right here. And so what I hope is that Mario vs. Donkey Kong has a very high likelihood of outselling every other game to have been featured in the series to this point. And my hope is that if that does happen, that Nintendo sees, oh, people love puzzle platforming Donkey Kong, let's make a proper sequel to Mario vs. Donkey Kong. Instead, what's probably going to happen is people say, oh, people love Mario vs. Donkey Kong, let's re-release the bajillion Lemmings clones with toy Mario characters in him. Good, okay, we're good. And there we go. Okay, we got rid of the bat. Okay. No! This is the worst timeline. This is the worst timeline. No, if I was, you know what, if I was calmer, I could have gotten to the key. If I was calmer, I started panicking. Okay. Oh, Claudia was saying, well, I streamed Donkey Kong 3 at one point. Someone needs to hack that game and replace the character you play at with Mario. You know what, I think the logic for Donkey Kong 3 was, okay, Mario is a plumber It was a carpenter in Donkey Kong. He was a plumber in Mario Brothers. Once they decided on the shooting gameplay with like with Donkey Kong being in a greenhouse, they said like, okay, we need a character. Instead of giving Mario yet another profession, let's make a new character that's specifically an exterminator because that's what the game is about. That's probably the logic for why Stanley the Bugman is the protagonist character in Donkey Kong 3. I wonder if I never actually fully played through this game, so it'd be interesting to see. Oh. Come on. Let's do good. No. I was hoping to get lucky and they'd be on the furthest point. And yeah, someday or another I'll play Donkey Kong 3. It's a good arcade game, not a major commitment type of game where it's... Like, this is a major commitment. I'll be playing this for a while to come. But it's one of the... Donkey Kong 3 is one of those games where I can just play it for, for maybe an hour. And have it serve as pretty decent coverage of what the nature of that game. Alright. I'm hoping to get lucky with this. No. Oh my gosh. Now, if we climb up here... Yeah, all those drop frame problems are gone now. What? How does that... Can you not strike those with the key? I guess Donkey Kong 4 was Donkey Kong Country? Donkey Kong Country is its own series. Yeah, it's like its own separate series, and honestly, not until, like, the Super Mario Brothers movie was the most explicit crossover, aside from some of the Mario, like, sports spin-offs, there wasn't a whole lot of crossover between the Donkey Kong Country universe and the mainline the Super Mario Brothers universe. Because I remember playing the first time I was at my friend's house watching someone play through Donkey Kong Country, and I was like, I find it hard to swallow that this setting, which has this emphasis on all these, like, talking, pretty anthropomorphic animal characters, is in the same setting as Super Mario World. This is... Okay, so that's interesting. Yeah, if the screen let me scroll just a little bit further so that I could actually place the block, that lower block when they were both on screen, this would be so much simpler. Okay, cool. So on the second one, we just got to get him over to the third one. And there's a relatively decent chance of them... Yes! Okay, good. We're good. That doggone bat. Okay. Okay, we got... Oh. Oh! I just considered that I could do that. Oh, you know what? Oh! We got it! We got it! We're good! We're good! Okay. We're good. Whew. That was tough. I lost like maybe 10 lives on that level. Probably spent more than 10 minutes, which is a long time for me. Alright. Only one more. Hold on. I know. Okay, so Donkey Kong Jr.'s in this level. I just want to make sure. Okay. I thought I was dropping frames for a second. It was just my computer chugging. Yeah, it looks like it didn't drop a single frame. Hey, one up. So we have Donkey Kong Jr. in this stage. You have these little ear dudes, those little ear goblins. Oh my goodness. So we've got the key here. You little pain in the butt. Yeah, it's interesting that Donkey Kong Jr. is in a cage because they are kind of lifting some, I guess, visual vocabulary from Donkey Kong Jr. Well, the actual game. Donkey Kong Jr. Yeah, I do not feel like trying to get those 3 items. So, boss stage next? Oh, boss stage next. Mini boss stage next. Alright. He's throwing mushrooms. I'm gonna guess those are bad? Oh. Because they look very unlike the mushrooms in the Super Mario Brothers games. What? Oh! You know, okay. Okay. So they temporarily make him smaller. I would have remembered that. There's no way I would have forgotten a mechanic like that. Okay. Looks like the platform says GG on it. A little premature, but... Okay, so when he's small, he cannot climb on platforms. I would climb on the ropes. Okay. So that threat... We're done with that threat for now. Oh no. Yeah, mushrooms in Super Mario Brothers make Mario bigger. Okay. Okay. No! I feel like I got tricked there. I feel like that was some tookus. Because like I did not mean. Did the game make me do that because there wasn't enough space for Mario to put his hand out in the other direction? Because I feel like I did not. I feel like that shouldn't have counted. Oh. Yeah, and the mini Mario sprite is so cute too. That's the surprising thing. Yeah, so I saw the animation of Mario getting small, but I did not realize I missed the mushroom part in that animation during the last, Okay, yeah, so when you get there, he automatically puts his hand out the other direction. What? How? I didn't know he could throw them... What? Okay. Alright, so now we know he can do that. Okay, we got it. We got it. So Mario's coming with the hammer, he climbs up, grabs the hammer again, chases after them. Okay, so just showing that technique on screen, because I don't think... I know that technique, but if the player happened not to have encountered it before, now they know that it's a thing. Because you definitely couldn't do that in the arcade Donkey Kong. Yeah, we saving. And alright, so let's... That looks... Those last 4 stages look like a perfect size section to, for a Wednesday stream, which tend to be much shorter. Whereas, here we go, Revenge of the Gator Pinball. Or Pinball Revenge of the Gator. Well, the game in the US is called Revenge of the Gator. In Europe, it's called, there we go. In Europe, it is called Pinball Revenge of the Gator, specifically. So, there we go. Play cartridge. Yep, so... Have some... I'm like, where's the music? There's music. Where's the music? Yeah, so... I'll play a... Oh, let me set my... Let's set the timer for... Yeah, I'll play good... I'll set the timer for 12 minutes and we'll call it after that. Yeah, so the brickwork... Yes, the brickwork pattern here, I keep mentioning this, but when you play Pokemon Pinball on a regular Game Boy, which is not something people associate with Pokemon Pinball, because they think of Pokemon Pinball as a Game Boy Color game, that's what it's marketed as, but it will play on a black and white Game Boy, and they use these brick patterns similar to these to make up for the fact... They use it to make the table's design stand out a bit and not look so plain when you don't have all the colors from the Game Boy Color experience of playing this game. So, what did I do? It sounds like I activated some kind of special target. Now, yeah, so this is a bit more of a concrete pinball game than Kirby's Pinball Land, which came a few years later. Yeah, Kirby's Pinball Land has like sort of a concrete end to it. It's a bit of a fusion between a platformer and a pinball game. More pinball than platformer, but it's a platformer in the sense that the boards have concrete goals to them where you can beat a particular board. Whereas here, your goal is just to last as long as you can, score as many points as you can. And this game does have a battery save function for your high score, which I have not bothered changing out the save battery on here, because I'm keeping track of all the scores, my scores on a spreadsheet anyway. Alright, so you have 2 balls left, and I'm not sure, I have to pay attention if the 2 balls include this one, or if there's like a ball 0. Because some games, if it says 0 balls left, it means you're using the ball you have. And some games where it has 0 balls left, it means or 1 left. It's sort of weird, the logic of it. I just got a little particle of food in there, excuse me, in my, to my lip and my gum, if you're wondering what that weird facial gesture was. Yeah, I wonder what is the deal with the eggplant with the letter Z? I know the eggplant imagery is common in a lot of these older video games, but the eggplant with the letter Z, I do no clue what that's supposed to mean. Oh, gosh darn it. We lost another ball already. And whenever it goes beneath, when you lose a ball and it goes down the gutter, I keep having false hope that I can save the ball, because in Kirby's Pinball Land it does that, and there's a little mini game you can play and have a chance of reviving Kirby, and each time that happens, it's harder to do it until eventually you just lose a ball. But there you just see the animation of the alligator eating the ball, which, while it does add to the alligator theming of the game, it's kind of frustrating not being able to do anything. Oh, that was a chance to relaunch our ball, which we get to do again now. Yeah, now that I'm not actually have a ball in play, I can look on the left, look at the the alligators. I love the way they like sort of, have that shifty eye animation going back and forth. It's cute. Like, the animation on all the characters here is so lively, considering this is such an early Game Boy game. And this is one of the games, when we were reading the reviews for this is one of the games that magazines were saying, like, okay, we're kind of tired of Super Mario Land and Tetris, now we finally have another good game to play aside from that, because we're kind of bored with Alleyway, even though I like Alleyway a lot more than I honestly should. Now, one of these days, one of these Wednesdays maybe this coming Wednesday, maybe I'll do it. I'll have the Game Boy games no one wants to watch night, where I play this game along with Alleyway. It would be a fun pair of games. They're both high-score-based games. Both relatively visually sparse game, though this game is, honestly, with its music and visuals, is a sensory extravaganza compared to Alleyway. Another game I like in a non-ironic manner, because when I see people streaming Alleyway, I'll go in and be like, wow, you're playing Alleyway, that's awesome! And they will say, like, yeah, I know. They think I'm being sarcastic. Like, no, I'm not being sarcastic or sardonic. I genuinely like seeing people stream this game, because it's one of those Game Boy launch games you don't hear people talk about too much. Okay. And I know with this game, when I booted this up for the first time, someone in chat was saying like they have not heard this music in decades. You know, since the early 90s or something like that, playing this particular title. Yeah, this is around the same time that Hal, who made this game, put out that, what was it, a Mahjong game, a Mahjong puzzle game for the Game Boy. That they sort of had to westernize the tiles for so that they were they could be more easily understood by English speakers, because the idea of Mahjong or Shanghai in the sense of the tile matching puzzle game was sort of beginning to increase in popularity at the time in the West. 152340. 152340. Excuse me, I just burped a little bit. There we go. That's more like it. Launch. Yeah, I have all these. I need to go ahead and actually calculate. Once I have a bigger sample size, I'll go ahead and calculate what my averages are. Check out my improvement rate and the like. Clackaboy is asking something that I think I am legally disallowed to comment on. And in the tradition of Nintendo, if they don't comment on something, that's usually means yes. Yeah, let's put it that way. Well, actually, taking my glasses off, I can say absolutely. But that will be quite a ways down the line. Now, as I was saying, yeah, I don't think I could really comment on anything like that. I really don't know anything about Lunarians and Dorms, aside from the fact that the advanced controller sent me all that artwork of me as Lunarian, and you know, the artwork of the Doorworms, and all the art you see in my channel, on my channel's emotes and the like. Whether it's the free follower emotes, where you get to have some cute Doorworms, or you could have Lunarian Age if you pay for a tier-1 subscription. But of course, simply watching me at all, whether you are active in chat or lurking in my silent squad, is deeply and sincerely appreciated. Y'all make it worth doing this, and I can't wait to make the stream better and better as the shows go on. Now, it is true that I have certain projects outside, you know, out in my professional life that I'm working on. One I am able to mention now is that I do want to come out with a book, or release a manuscript. There's a book I want to release that I only just started working on about a week ago, that I do want to release before the end of the year, and I have to ask, like, do I want to maybe forego the Wednesday streams? Or maybe I might, like my last Wednesday stream, I kept it strictly to 1 hour, not from when I went live, but from when I went on camera to when I said, alright, that's it, I'm calling the stream, you know, went to my webcam view, went to my my end card, and so with my hold screen, the opening is about 10 minutes, my end cards, or my ending piece to camera, you know, full screen webcam thing at the end where I talk about the stream or what I might be doing next. Those may take about well, it's about 10 minutes at the start and then about 5 minutes at the end. I think that maybe keeping the main portion of the stream up to about an hour is going to be a good formula for Wednesdays to give me more time to work on more immediate projects in my professional life that I cannot talk about on stream, as well as stuff, projects that I do want to that I can talk about, that I do want to spend more time working on, but can't maybe place those as a priority. And Clacket Boy is asking, will the book be available on Amazon? I'd like it to be if it gets published, and there are a couple of publishers who'd be interested in seeing, who I've worked with and are aware of me, and would be interested in seeing my material in the future. Okay. And I do have an artist lined up, potentially, for doing the cover art, which is exciting. And I think after this ball, after when we have one ball left, let's see, do we have any more balls? Or is that the end of our game? Oh, 149530. Yeah, not one of my better, will this book be a book of fiction or non-fiction? I think any more details aside from that will be a surprise for now. But, where's my end screen? There we go, there's my end screen. Yeah, so I will see you all next time, when I will be playing, I have Revenge of the Gator and Donkey Kong up here. You know what? I'm gonna play through, I think next time around, I'll skip the magazine portion. I'll play Donkey Kong, I'll play the last section of the world we're at, which is like 4 stages left in the jungle area. And then we will play some Alleyway and Revenge of the Gator. We're actually going to skip the magazine portion next time. So, let me take a peek. Let's say who's around and doing stuff. Yeah. I think we'll, I think we'll just go ahead and call it there. I will see you all next time, and thank you very much for watching.